So I realized that just having the description of what to do in text form can be super confusing, so I'm making this just to kind of show you what it looks like in the process and how to use all the data that's here. So let's go ahead and do an example of one that I need to do right now, which would be Eco's Beware, which I wish was Beware, but according to the anime is Beware. You'll see that there's all these layers over here. Everything needs to go in this top one when you're making everything. The description layer here is mostly for understanding what everything means. We're going to assume that I know what this all means and I don't need it, so I'm going to delete it. When you delete that layer, make sure that you reselect the put everything on this layer, otherwise you're going to put it on a layer that'll end up being deleted and you'll be very sad. So, we'll go ahead and start with the stats. The stats, it describes, need to be aligned right. So we're going to align right. We're going to have the text tool open. And you'll notice all these numbers are actually coordinates, and these coordinates can all be found down here. So the coordinates for where I need to start the text on the HP bar, attack bar, defense bar, etc. are 4323. This little quotation mark is a ditto, and the ditto means that the first coordinate remains the same for all of these numbers. So we know the first one, 4323, is going to be right here. Needs to be Agency FB font, 10 points, bold. And again, we're aligned right because we're doing these. So HP for Beware, since I have its stats memorized, I know it's 120. Attack, we're going to go to 4349. We know that's 125. Cool. So then we need to hit escape and then align left so that we're aligning correctly when we're doing the descriptions. So descriptions start at 180.23, which is right here. We know 120 is excellent if we refer to the table, but I already know that, so I'm just going to type excellent. So then we have 180.49 right here. That's also excellent because it's base 125. Finally, the boxes. So you're going to use this shapes tool, and you're going to make sure that it's selected on round rectangle. The brush width should be 2, corner size should be 4, the style should be that. These should be defaults, and it should be black, of course. So then, it says that the corner should start at 4515. So obviously we'll look at these coordinates to know where we start our corner. Over here will be the dimensions of the box, which we'll go into as I start that. So 4515 is right here. So we know the width, the second number is always going to be 16. The length is always the base stat divided by 2 rounded down. Half of 120 is 60. So it's going to be 60 by 16. There. So then this one is 4541. Right there. Half of 125 rounded down is 62. So we're going to go up to 62. E 16. Perfect. Escape. Perfect. So now everything's done, and we can delete the coordinates layer. And what we get is this, which somehow something's not looking right. Oh, you know what? It looks like 3 of the stat bars I ended up putting at 43 instead of 45. So I'm actually going to undo those because that's just easier at this point. And let's see that that was in fact the mistake I made. 45, 67. Again, it's going to be 40 by 16. Yep, that was definitely my mistake. I was getting too used to the 43s, and they should have all been 45s because it says 45 right there. Alright, now let's delete the coordinates layer again. There, now it looks perfect. So yes, I do still mess this up, and I'm sorry. So, like I said, before you ever fill in the colors, you want a magic wand first. And I find that it's easiest if you just fill them in from lowest to highest. So we'll start with the 55, which is the lowest. The reason it's selected like this is because we're on the long layer. So we need to be on the put everything on this layer before we do anything. And again, we'll hit that, and we see it's 55. So, according to this little table I sent you, base 55 has the following properties. Red 219. That's it. So, we go here, we click the more on colors, we change the red value to 219. Then we'll use our little bucket tool and dump it. Cool. So then the next one's going to be 60 over here, which according to the table is red equals 239. So we'll change that to 239, and we'll go back to bucket and we'll dump it. And then this is the same, so we can just magic wand and then dump it, and then magic wand. But this is 80, so if we look down at 80, 80 is 255, 127. So 255 and then green 127. There's 80. Cool. Next is going to be 120, which according to the table is 64, 255. So 64, 250, not that, 64, 255. There we go. Perfect. And then we would dump it in, but it's already dumped, so we're fine. And then finally, that one is at 125. The difference here is going to be 24, 255. So make that 24 and dump it. And there we go. So at this point we only have 2 layers, so it's going to be really easy. I'm going to file, I'm going to save it as under Tampa Bay Tapu Bulus. This is going to be standard stats. Be war stat bars. And I'm going to save this as a PNG. Which for mine I actually have it as just stats. But stat bars, stats, it doesn't matter. I can rename them. For the sake of my own consistency, I'm just going to say stats. Save. We're going to hit OK. We need to flatten it so that it can become a PNG. And we're done. And then how we would do the next one is we would literally reopen the template and just start again. So hopefully that made sense. This is all in one take, so I'm sorry if it's a little long or a little confusing, but hopefully you'll find this helpful. Thank you so much for your help.